Hello, hello. Here's your girl, Ebony Phoenix again. Auntie Ebony is back in the house, ladies. And happy Thanksgiving week to you. Well, I hope we all had a safe and wonderful holiday and looking for more to come. In this episode, I would like to talk about identity, divestment and identity. That's the name of the podcast today. And with any group of people, the members of that group tend to take their identity or form their identity around what they are around, and the people who are around them form their identity, especially within the formative years. And I mean from, pretty much year 0 to year 18. And after that, other influences take hold. But core identity is usually built pretty, definitely personality, but core identity is built pretty much by then. And that is where our problem lies. And a subtitle for this show is pretty much self-sacrifice is for dumb bitches. Let me say that again. Self-sacrifice is for dumb bitches. Now, what I mean by that is that, mothers and pretty much will sacrifice what they need to sacrifice for their children. And in healthy communities, mostly fathers mostly do that also. But we also know that the Black collective is not anywhere near a healthy community. There's nothing wrong with getting what you want. And I think part of the female identity in most cultures is to basically deny what you want in order to give society and others, i.e. your family and men in general, what they want. It's time to basically put that thinking down the toilet. There's nothing wrong with getting what you want. You, meaning a woman, a girl, a person, getting what they need and what they want. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, there are some traditions that will say that women should be the one to be all sacrificing, and that's bull. See where that's gotten us? Not very far, but it's gotten a lot of men wealthy, and it's gotten a lot of men what they wanted, and it's gotten a lot of people in general what they wanted, simply because they're the more selfish. And selfishness to the extreme, of course, is dysfunction. Anything to the extreme is dysfunction. But for some reason, Black women and girls are pretty much groomed and raised to be these, everybody's maid, everybody's caretaker. And that, I hated the movie called, that was a movie years ago with Viola Davis, and it was about the maids, and it was about, these Black women taking care of these white families. They were the maids in these families, and there was this one maid with Viola Davis's character where she was like, "You is important, you is special, da 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 da." And it was just so funny how that character gave that little girl a sense of worth, gave her community a sense of worth, even her dead son a sense of worth with her memory of him. Tree lore, I guess that's what it was. But she never gave herself any sense of worth. And so that's what I want to talk about now. Talk about how Black women are not raised with a sense of worth outside of being everybody's caretaker and everybody's um, nurturing person, but she gets no nurturing in return. So yeah. Complete and total self-sacrifice is for dumb bitches. Two, here's the thing. Why treat someone better than you treat yourself, or treat someone else better than they treat you? And so I really want to delve into this because I think a lot of women and girls, it's just second nature. Your part as a woman is to be a nurturer, but no one, when it comes to Black women, no one is designed to nurture them. Let me say that again. We are groomed to nurture everyone, but we get nothing back. And actually hostility if we have nothing else to give. See, people are vessels, and when someone let's say you're a beautiful crystal pitcher of water, and if everybody who's thirsty comes and pours water out of that pitcher, the pitcher is going to be empty. Someone has to fill the pitcher up. Well, the Black collective is not filling up Black women. They're not building up Black girls. In order to have strong communities and strong families, we have to have everybody a part of that, everybody giving their part. And it seems to me that Black women and girls are supposed to do all the giving, and the men and the boys take everything. And then after they're done, like locusts, they go and take from other people's communities. And that's not going to last too long. But they are willing to destroy their own and not build it. Self-sacrifice, total self-sacrifice is for dumb bitches. So, and I noticed that, with all the crime statistics going on, Black women giving birth to children, the men don't want them or the baby. That trap is just laid for so many women and girls. It's almost a thing. It's almost a tradition. No. That breaks the women and girls. They can't just do it alone, and they've been trying for years, decades, centuries. It's ridiculous. Now, women, a lot of women tend to be the nurturers, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to do all the nurturing and get nothing back, there's something wrong with that dynamic. Everybody looks for the good girl, if you notice, in every culture or collective of people, people like to look for the good girls. Oh, hon, get yourself a good girl. Being a good girl is not a badge of honor. It's a setup to becoming a doormat, especially in the Black collective. And people like doormats. Doormats are fun. You can get sex out of them. You can get money out of them. You can get forgiveness out of them. You can get them to do things. You can get them to jump over the hoop, jump under the hoop, jump in a hole, fill the hole up. Oh, dig the hole up again. Get in the hole and then fill the hole up. People like doormats, but you don't need to be liked all the time. In fact, you shouldn't be. Back when I was growing up in the 80s, I figured out there were two things. I came up in a small town, and I figured out two things. You could be a girl that everybody liked, or you could be a girl that people respected. Now, ideally, you would want both, but there was no, not for teenage girls. See, so you could be the girl that went along with everything, went along with what people wanted from you, did what the guys wanted from you, and you were liked and you were popular. Or you could just not do what you wanted to do, and made sure you were respected. Now, there's just some boys who are not going to respect girls anyway because they're not taught to. But I decided that, yeah, I'd rather be respected. I'll just keep my underwear on, thank you, and just move right along and keep my integrity. That is hard to do. And it is a lonely game to play. I understand. Yeah, at the end, you're true to yourself, but you're not very popular. I like that I chose that path. It was the best one for me. Um, Badges of honor. See, our society likes to give badges of honor to women, and it basically cuts you down to a sentence. You're you're not multifaceted. You're just this one thing that somebody likes. You could be the good girl, the cute girl, the sexy girl, the caretaker, uh, the virtuous girl, or the virgin, a married woman. But here's the thing: good girls, caretakers, virtuous women, married women, all get their asses kicked. They can be financially abused, cheated on, and even killed and assaulted. Okay? It doesn't matter what badge the society pins on you, you can still be set up to be a victim. And uh and basically, I hate to say it, but that the Black collective, especially the church, sets you up. You put on your white gloves, you get your fan and your Sunday going church meeting hat. You can still get your ass beat on the way to church. And you can get your ass beat on the way back. Get your ass beat when you come home from church. You have to do everything for everybody else. You know, and Christianity, it's a bad one. People who are a part of the Christian tradition tend to basically put women in some very narrow, stringent terms. There's no grace for her. There's no grace for the gossip. There's no grace for the adulteress. There's no grace for the mother who just didn't want to raise kids. There's no grace for the girl who had an abortion. There's no grace for the woman who had an abortion. There's no grace for a woman who decides that she wants to be alone. There's no grace for the woman who wants to be a minister. There's no grace for the woman who decides to not have children at all because she doesn't want to and she doesn't. There's no grace for women, especially Black women. And that is what I would like to talk about, because we need to explore that more. There are iconic images about women in every culture, and in the Black collective, those iconic images are basically set up to be knocked down off of its pedestal. There are no graceful women. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. There's no grace for the skinny girl. There's no grace for the fat woman. There's no grace for the girl who blossoms early. There's no grace for the flat-chested woman. There's no grace for the girl who cannot play sports. There's no grace for the girl who makes straight A's. And there's no grace for the girl who's just funny. There's no grace for any of us. And the reason I want to talk about this and basically explore this is a little bit because it is really strange how so many women of the Black collective, almost every damn one, their identity is based upon how the Black collective sees them and how Black men see them. Okay, let me say that again. I think it is very difficult for Black women to divest from the collective of the diaspora is because their whole identity is based upon it. It's the saddest thing. It's a very normal thing. Normally that's what happens. The problem is the Black collective does not value the women on whom its identity depends. It's Black women are basing their identity in the Black collective, and the Black collective does not respect or cherish them. Why base your identity in a collective that does not cherish you. It's the most normal thing in the world to do. I mean, every group of people in the world, it's that's the case. But with the Black collective and diaspora, that collective hates its own women. It does not value or cherish its own women. So I say that those women and girls should basically forge their identity outside of that community, forge their identity upon something besides anything connected exclusively to that community. What do I mean by that? Base your identity upon your knowledge of yourself, not knowledge as it relates to the Black collective. No, but knowledge of yourself. Do you know yourself as a creative person? Do you know yourself as an intelligent person? And yes, it's okay to be a giving person, but not 100% giving with nothing coming. Okay? With nothing coming. No, no, no. Do not do that. That is dangerous. Base your identity up on, your talents, your who you are as a human being, your place in the world. And it has to be forged outside the Black collective, or you will never divest. You will never divest successfully. Let me say that again. One must forge their identity outside that of the Black collective, or you will never be able to divest and divest successfully. And the reason is your identity cannot depend upon the collective, because what the collective values may not be you. And I can guarantee you it's not you. It may be biracial women. It may just be white women in general. It may be Latina women in general. It may be something else other than you. And I'm going to be honest. The identity of the Black collective is basically Black male, Black men, what they want. Not what you want, not what you need. Who gives a shit about that? It's what Black men want and who Black men are. You have to divorce yourself from that. Okay? And so many Black women and girls have such low self-esteem for so long that they can't even recognize that. They cannot build their self-esteem at all in a community that does not cherish them, does not care for them, does not listen to them, will not advocate for them. That's what pissed me off about the whole Black Lives Matter business. Nobody gave a shit about Breonna Taylor or Sandra Bland until they were forced to. Okay? If you have to force it, I don't want anything to do with it. And I'm not giving my resources or time to a community that does not even have me as an afterthought. Or that if I am an afterthought, shit, think of me first and then I might think of you. No free lunches anymore. Sorry. Okay? Fair is fair. And a lot of people say, well, life ain't fair. Well, okay, since life is not fair, I'm going to be unfair. And if I get nothing in return, I give nothing to you. Don't have time for it. I have seen so many Black women dragged out, tired, their health basically run down, their mental health completely dragged from a community in which they were supposed to give, and get not a goddamn thing in return. Come on. But nobody's going to question that. But me, I guess. Nobody's going to say anything about that. But me, I guess. And if that's what you have to do to be a good church woman, then count my ass out. I will meet you on the road to hell. I am done. Okay? You don't treat me like a robot or an ATM. I'm a human being. And if you are not capable, if you are incapable of caring for this human being, count me out. I'm out of the ball field. I ain't playing. Keep your damn balls. Play with somebody else. Leave me alone. And I really believe, and I've always believed, that Black women have to, especially divested Black women, have to have a safe space for themselves and each other. There are villages in certain countries in Africa where the women have kicked the men out completely because they don't know how to act. I think it's time we did that too, ladies. Start believing in ourselves and believing in each other. If we can swing elections, if we can start whole movements, if we don't let somebody else take it over, listening BLM, if we can do all these things that we're doing, we can definitely learn how to love ourselves and support each other and not let penis and testicles be king of your life. There's more out there. There's billions of them walking around. Billions of them. Okay? Think of yourself first. You're worth that, Black woman. Start respecting yourself, and then others can respect you. And part of respecting yourself is realizing that you are too good to be hit on, beat on, cheated on, shot at, stomped on, assaulted on a day-to-day basis, and people expecting you to say not a damn word. Mom's the word. Oh, I don't think so. Give me a bullhorn. Okay, give me a bullhorn. Black women have spines for everybody else. They have capes for everybody else, but themselves. I don't get it. Before I march for any damn body else, I will march for myself first. And if I don't feel like marching for myself, I ain't marching for no damn body. Capiche? Our identity has to be separated from that of the Black collective, because the Black collective does not cherish it or respect it. There's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work to be done. And we need to start within. You know, the fake nails, the manicures, the pedis, the fake hair, the wigs, the tracks, whatever. That is not you, Black woman. That is not you, Black woman. Hell, you are a hell of a lot more than that. You are a hell of a lot more than that, angel. You know, everybody wants to benefit off of us. They want to make money off of us. But they don't want to build us up. They don't respect us. So why give them our money? We can do so much. We have contributed so much to this world to be treated the way we are being treated and to be perceived the way we are being perceived. It's ridiculous. And I know the males in the Black collective have helped that mess go down. And I when I saw this whole Meek Mill, whatever controversy of it, the bus and the whole, I'm like, what man, self-respecting man would put something like that up and call it art and then hire a woman to do it? What woman would do something like that? That is a male identified woman. So that's what I'm saying. So part of we need to do something called identity building in the Black community, especially with the ladies, identity build. Separate your identity from that of the Black collective and Black men, especially Black men, because your fight and his fight are not the same fight. Baby, you've got a longer way to go than he does. And you worried about him and not yourself and not your girls, not your female cousins and your aunts and your friends. Really, your penis and balls aren't the only things in the world. Believe me. You yourself as a person on this earth, a person in this universe, that is important. Develop that. Don't do the Build-A-Bear workshop where you're building a brother. Good Lord. He's not your brother. Because if he was, you wouldn't have to build him. You wouldn't have to build him. Hell, he'd be building you. You'd be building together. But no, he'd rather chase you out of the club and shoot your ass because you didn't give him your number. What is that? Why even deal with people like that? Those are not men. Those are little boys running around with a whole bunch of hormones and no social skills. Your identity should be unique to you. You're not the same as everybody else. Realize that. Realize that, girl. You've got more at hand than you think. And please don't have a basketball team of kids. Don't have them at all if you don't want them. Think about yourself first. Think about getting yourself somewhere first before you even bring a child into this world, because it sucks right now. If ever, you may never decide, shit, I don't want no kids. Okay, that's fine. Fine. You want to be a childless woman? Do that. Be so. Make it so. And realize the wonderful things that in your life that are good for you. Don't leave anything good on the table that is meant for you. Don't you leave money on the table, and don't you leave anything good that's on that table for you in life. I'm speaking metaphorically, of course. You deserve good things. You deserve good things, wonderful things. And I hate to tell you, sweetheart, that good thing is not always, and many times, will not be in the form of a good man, of a good Black man, because it ain't happening. Okay? Nobody's perfect. But at least get somebody who cares about you, respects you, never degrades you, calls you by your name, or call your pet name, like dear, love, whatever. If he's calling you a bitch, he don't need you. You're too good for him. You're too good for a community that calls you a bitch, a hoe, a thought, ratchet, blah, 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 blah. They got a whole lot of nasty names for Black women, don't they? And the bullshit about, hey, queen, let that go too. That's a mockery. You're not royalty. But you are a person on this earth with talent and love to give and so much more. You should not be mocked or disrespected at all. Forge your own identity. Forge your own identity. And I don't care if you have to do it outside of the Black collective. In fact, the only way you can divest that's the only way you can divest successfully. See yourself as an individual, not as a piece of the Black community to go marching and running around up and down the street, catching rubber bullets to your eye. Really? Really? We're going to do that? Nah, you're too good for that. You need to be working out, dancing, crafting, scrapbooking, playing piano, playing any kind of instrument, going to concerts, traveling, playing with grandkids, doing whatever makes you happy. You don't have to do everybody else's dirty work. Do the heavy lifting. You're not made to do the heavy lifting, really, but Black women, millions of Black women do it all the time, every day, the heavy lifting. Raising kids and working. That's not it. That's not it. And Getting married is not the be all end all. Like I said, like I saw my mother get her ass beat all the time. She was a wonderful person. Got her ass beat though, a lot. Got concussions a lot. And why? Why? Because somebody, a male person, thought that they were more worthy than she was, and basically it was okay to hit her, beat her. But that was where his bread and butter was coming from. That was where his children were coming from. That's where his sex was coming from. That's where his check was coming from. That was the roof over his head was coming from. That's where his meals were coming from. And he beat her down to the ground when he got angry. No. I grew up watching my mother doing that, and I'm like, that's not for me. See ya. See ya. So that's all I have for now, but keep those things in mind. I'll be coming back to you with the second part of divestment and identity very soon. This is your Auntie Ebony. She's looking out for you. She's thinking about you. And if you would like to talk to me or email me a request, just email me at ebonyphoenixlive@gmail.com or phoenixebony@gmail.com, and I am listening. Look, you've got a good life out there. You're just going to have to fight for it. And you may have to fight other people for it. And I think you can do it. Please check out these YouTube channels and these Patreons of these wonderful ladies. First, Divested Zealot. She will tell you straight about divestment, and she will tell you why and how to. She will just tell you how to get there. Lovely lady. And she cares about Black women and girls. Okay. Divested Zealot. Check her out. Lexus Exodus. She's so adorable. I call her the princess. Please check her out. Check out her Patreon and her YouTube channel. And there's this another lady, and her name is Simply Said. That's just the name of the channel. Simply Said. She's got some wonderful divested talking points also, and as to why you should divest. But when you finally divest, come to me and Ebony. We'll go on this journey together. Okay? See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.